All right. Well, thank you guys so much for hopping on. Tonight, we're really excited to sort of just talk through really December going into January, and how we can, really use the momentum that this time of year brings, especially as we go into the new year. So we wanted to talk about Take Back the Kitchen and kind of our thoughts around that for December. And then we also wanted to talk about a little bit about 80-Day Obsession and how we can get people excited for that as well as a team. So,
can I tell a really funny story real quick? Hello, good evening. I just checked on our 3-year-old who is supposed to be sleeping, and he is literally buck naked, like naked, laying in his bed. His bed has been stripped. His pillows and blankets are on the floor, and he is just laying there with his butt up towards the ceiling screaming. So that's where I was. How is everybody else?
Oh, man.
Can't make this stuff up.
You really can't. All right, so we're recording, by the way, so that's now on our official video.
I think that's a great thing to have on our video.
Okay, so should we start with Take Back the Kitchen?
Sure.
All right, let's look at our notes here. Okay, so we kind of mentioned this last time, but we're gonna go with, as far as Take Back the Kitchen goes, we're gonna go back to just making a big deal of it once a month. So, like tonight after this call, we'll be announcing that registration is now open from now until Thursday. So I wanted to give you the open registration dates for
you can charge it and be on the iPad. This phone call's not going to take that long.
Let me mute everyone just so we get a clear recording here.
Or you can go get my charger for me.
I love it. Okay, so, all right, so registration dates for Take Back the Kitchen. So this week, so right now, December 3rd through the 7th, people can join, they can sign up, and then their first menu would be Friday. Now, again, as a reminder, if at any point you sell a challenge pack, you can always enroll them sort of off the record, like in Take Back the Kitchen. It's just not going to be something we're publicly announcing. So that's the date for December. Now, the next registration date will be the December 31st through the 4th. Okay, so that's the next time, because that's when people are going to be really excited for the new year. So that's Take Back the Kitchen. Now, we're kind of working through, we're brainstorming, and so if any of you guys have thoughts on this, we would love to hear your feedback. So we're still getting quite a bit of confusion from people who just aren't quite sure about where they don't get the menu. And so, originally we said, okay, well, Monica is posting the menu in the Family Nutrition Ambassadors page, and then you just have to send, you should all be sending it to your people every single week, no matter what. But that's not happening all the time. So yeah, well, I think a lot of people do a good job. It's just, for certain people, they haven't done that yet. So then their clients are reaching out to Monica, which just becomes sort of a nightmare for her. So one thing we're kind of bouncing around is putting just a little bit more responsibility on the Family Nutrition Ambassadors. So one idea was, how about Monica uploads the menu, and then you are responsible for anyone that is on Take Back the Kitchen with you to send it to your people. And so obviously that's going to require more work for the FNAs, but I think it actually could be a really powerful touch point for you for them to need you just a little bit more instead of feeling like they don't need you. So the one thing we're kind of working through with that, because the reason we didn't want to do that originally was because we wanted to keep track of membership numbers, because we just kind of need to know from a numbers perspective, does Take Back the Kitchen make sense, and how much can we be reinvesting into it, and all that kind of stuff. And so what we've noticed is that obviously it's going to be just a little bit trickier for us to monitor that. So we're still kind of working through how we could still get those weekly numbers, because right now I can see, okay, we have this many 100 members, this week because they filled out the form or you filled out the form for them. So we're working through that. So if any of you guys have spent time thinking this through and you feel like you have a great solution, please feel free to reach out to us. We are totally open. Ultimately, we just want it to be a great experience for our customers. And so even if we do decide to have Monica continue on, I think one thing we're going to do is, again, put more responsibility on the FNAs to fill out the form for the customer, just so that the customer is not having to do a lot of brain work to get on this list and to get the emails, because it's just, we don't want that to fall on them. So more to come on that, but we just kind of wanted to let you guys know what we're talking through a little bit in terms of how we can make that experience better. So for the probably the biggest, I would think, why are you smiling? What is he doing now?
Nothing, he's just cracking me up.
Oh man. So probably the biggest piece of leverage that we wanted to talk about in terms of, okay, this week, how do we really make a big push with Take Back the Kitchen, would be that the first week of, so our plan is to have 80-day obsession eating plans for folks so that they can literally have, based on what plan you're on, a step-by-step guide of what you can eat through Take Back the Kitchen. That's one piece for me when I went through the test group that I just felt was missing, because I had to think through, what am I going to have for my containers? So we're going to try to have that, part of like a huge drawing card for Take Back the Kitchen, to keep them on the Shakeology and on performance and all of that. So we're going to shoot for our first week of 80-day obsession will fall on the last week of this month's Take Back the Kitchen membership. So that first week will be January 1st for the 80-day obsession meal plan being available to them. So that's something that they only can get if they are in our December, like that's special for our December members. So that's the spin that I'm going to kind of lead with this week, is just, if you're in December, you're going to get kind of a sneak peek into 80-day obsession. You'll be the first people to get our 80-day obsession meal plans. Okay, so speaking of 80-day obsession, one thing that we want to do, and this is going to be next week, Sunday, so December 10th, and it's going to happen right before this call. So at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, we're going to do a sneak peek for 80-day obsession. This is for anyone who's interested in joining. So this would be prospective customers, potential coaches, anyone who wants to learn more about 80-day obsession. Have them on this call, and we'll post the event details and such probably tomorrow. But our goal really with that is to get people excited about 80-day obsession, and more importantly, really take the time to explain to them their options to enroll with one of the 80-day obsession packs, because those packs are going to come out the 14th, so that following week. So if we're able to educate them next Sunday night, that way when those packs come out, they're going to know exactly what they want to do. There's actually pre-order forms too. So our hope is that we can educate them on 80-day obsession, on the different options, and then you can follow up and say, hey, I'd love to get your name on our pre-order form so that when this stuff goes live, I can make sure you're the first to get it, that kind of thing. So again, that's next week, Sunday night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. It will just be about half an hour. And it'll be a Zoom call like this, so that we can just share information. They can ask questions. You can be on with them, all of that kind of stuff. I'll also kind of be talking through my experience, and I'm also going to be getting some before and after pictures to share during that presentation, so they can kind of see and start to visualize what could be possible for them too. Okay, and then our next free week, I have been so excited about just some of the leads that I've gotten from the free week this past week, but our next free week that will be running for the entire downline will be January 1st to the 7th, just because it's a natural time for people to get curious and kind of start thinking about what they're going to do for the new year. So our hope is that we can get them in that free group, and then we can transition them into a challenge group right after. Now, we're still kind of talking through what our plan is going to be once the 80-day obsession comes out, because it's going to be an 80-day commitment. And so then what are we going to do like for people that maybe aren't ready for that? So I think our initial thoughts is that we really feel good about the kind of system that we have going on, where right now we're running a 3-week boot camp, and then we have a free week, and then another 3-week boot camp, and then a free week. So we're going to continue that. I'm pretty sure. We have to look at the dates for sure. But that, I like to kind of share what I'm thinking through at different points so you guys can kind of just get an idea of how I plan out my months. But the thought then is that we can still have them in the 3-week challenges and then have specific start dates for the 80-day obsession. You guys are going to find that it's just going to be a lot more fun and rewarding for you if you're doing the 80-day obsession right alongside with them, and that you're getting the same results. You can talk about how you're feeling. You can, it's a much more positive, I think, an empowering thing for you as a coach to do it with them. So that's something we're kind of working through, but those are really the dates kind of for the next month. So I'll say those one more time just in case anyone hopped on. So this week, December 3rd through the 7th, is going to be open registration for Take Back the Kitchen. We'll be posting that to Take Back the Kitchen TV tonight. And then the next date for open registration for Take Back the Kitchen will be December 31st through the 4th. And the next date to know is next week, Sunday night, December 10th, 8 p.m., an 80-day obsession sneak peek for our entire downline. It's for you guys, for your potential customers, anyone. So make sure that you get the word out about that. And then that next week will be, like during the week, will be when you're going to enroll and start to have the possibility to enroll people with the 80-day obsession packs. And then our next free week will be January 1st to the 7th. Do you guys have any questions about that before we move on? Does that all make sense? Feel free to comment too. Or unmute yourself. Okay, chat. Why did it go back to once a month? Okay, so that's a really great question. So we just found that when we had this open enrollment, like throughout the month, there really wasn't this need for, oh, I want to get in on that. Like there wasn't a sense of urgency. And so there wasn't a lot of excitement in the group. There wasn't a lot of momentum. It just was kind of like, oh, I can get that whenever. So I'm just not really going to check into that group. Whereas when you offer something once a month, then people are like, oh my gosh, if I don't get it now, it's going to be like a good month before I can get this again. And so that's what we're going back to. But again, please note that if you do have like someone that comes to you in the middle of the month randomly, and they're like, I want to buy a challenge pack, I want to join your challenge group, and they purchase it, you can say, oh, I can totally sneak you in to Take Back the Kitchen. It's like a super cool like additional bonus that you can offer as a coach to go, yeah, I can get you in there. It's just not something we're going to publicly advertise. From a marketing standpoint, it just creates a lot more momentum and a lot more excitement when it's like a once a month deal. That makes sense. Do you want to add anything to that?
No, I think so. We're giving you guys a lot of dates here. One of the things that we're spending a tremendous amount of time talking through, we've chatted about it all weekend, is how do we create something a little bit more systematic for you guys? Because what happens is you kick it into high gear for a period of time with Take Back the Kitchen. I mean, seriously, we rocked the house for 2 months, and we had 1,300 people, 1,400 people, whatever it was, and now that dropped down to 1,250. Posting's been sporadic in the membership page. Our content on Take Back the Kitchen TV has been, one day up, one day down. And I think it's not a matter of us not wanting to prioritize it. I just don't know if we know how to prioritize it. We get rocking there, and we were just talking about this today. Like we got rocking at the end of last month with running challenge groups and promoting Sweat Well Spent, or promoting 80-day obsession, or all these different things. It's just hard to know how do we prioritize our time. And so what we're trying to help you guys do is come up with a systematic approach to when do you promote Take Back the Kitchen and really try and grow your business that way. When do you flip the script a little bit and really promote for your challenge groups? Because we have enough stuff now that we should always have something to promote and talk about. And so I think the easier we make this and the more specific we are with when we do free week for Take Back the Kitchen, when we do free week for challenge groups, when we do deadlines for challenge groups, when we do deadlines for Take Back the Kitchen. And that's gonna, I think it's gonna help us just as a people at the top here, trying to figure out how do we disperse it down, and then hopefully it's helpful for you guys and your teams. So that's big. Along the same lines, with the engagement in Take Back the Kitchen membership, if we had so much going on over these last couple of weeks, making final pushes and Thanksgiving and all that kind of stuff, that you somewhat lose track of just posting in there and creating that sense of community. So if you guys wouldn't mind, it would really help us. We're going to be better about it as well. But, really in that membership page, again, just trying to create that community where people feel like they can post their meals, they can talk about the experience with their families, they can talk about Daily Sunshine. I was telling Amber today, like, I cannot tell you the last time I saw like a message on my phone for Take Back the Kitchen membership, which is odd. So I think we just need to kind of ramp that up, because that you guys, the beauty of it, and the reason that corporate was so fascinated by it was like, yeah, it was great that we're getting members, but our retention the first couple of months was really, really good. And that retention has now started to kind of slip. And I think it's because we're not doing a good enough job of driving that community. And ultimately, guys, that starts with us. That starts with us as leaders showing the people that you brought into the community what's possible and allowing them to feel the freedom to post. The last thing that I think we need to talk about, and maybe just put it on the list for next week, is talking through all the various combo pack details.
Yeah, well, that will be part of I was just telling them about that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know you weren't here.
But I think that's huge, guys, because like the thing that I'm excited about is they finally have a combo pack for Shakeology and performance, and that's huge. And some people are going to be a little bit resistant to it. I don't think I need both of them. So I was thinking about, I know there's a bunch of guys that have kind of fallen in love with the performance line like me. So if you've got a combo pack that's Shakeology and Energize and Recover, you do a his and hers special. And to me, I think that could be pretty cool to have, an option for people to sign up, and the woman gets her Shakeology, her, however you want to frame it. And then the guy gets the stuff that they need to perform the best at the gym. I think there's a lot to it. And I think if we're really good at promoting it, we can really make some headway. I had a guy today that I've been working on for a long time. He's a good friend of mine. He was actually somebody that I, like, indirectly, I guess, hired. He worked under me for a number of years. And I've been trying, he's a fitness guy, and I've been trying to get him to do Beachbody. He doesn't want anything to do with Beachbody. And a couple of months ago, he was like, I noticed that you talk about this pre-workout stuff. What is it? And so I just sent him a full container of it, the $45 container. And I was like, hey, just try it. I just want to know what you think of it. I believe in it that much that I'm willing to just put it in his hands, and we'll just see what happens. I've talked about that before. That's the reason that Mike Fitzpatrick's even a coach, because Jamie just told him, hey, I'll just buy your Shakeology and try it, and you tell me what you think of it. And so I just tried the same thing with him and Energize, and he sent me a message today. He's like, hey, I need to order a couple for me and somebody else. So I think there's a lot to it if we can bundle the two together and really make some hay at the end of the month here.
Yeah. The combo packs, I didn't really go into them very much, but there are just some great deals, like for people that especially just want to save a little bit of money up front. So there's packages where you can literally buy the whole 80 days worth. There's packages that you can buy just the Shakeology and performance. I really think that one, the combo pack, is going to be the most popular, because you get to have Shakeology and Energize. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like a lot of, our season of life, you can't just like add an extra $500 to your month maybe, but maybe you could put some Christmas money towards it or something. But
they also did a really neat thing with this. Doug Moss was saying that one of the biggest struggles that they're playing through at corporate right now is you have people who sign up and just sign up for Beachbody On Demand, and they're not getting Daily Sunshine, they're not getting Shakeology, they're not getting the performance, but they already have Beachbody On Demand. And so when you're trying to build out a challenge pack for them, you're kind of stuck with, well, what can I give them if they're not going to order Shakeology and Beachbody On Demand? So they've thought about those customers. They've thought about the coaches and how to incentivize the coaches. And then they've also thought about how to incentivize new customers. So there are 3 tiers of packs. So it's a little confusing, but there's 3 tiers of packs. And then, yeah, how sweet are these?
We are going to be getting these out to you guys.
So I digress. The combo packs are very exciting. End of story there. So back now, the tank tops. The tank tops are pretty cool. They're huge initially, so that's why we kind of didn't send them out. We were
like testing them to make sure we could they would actually shrink a little. They do shrink.
They're like massive. They are like onesies, and then you wash them, and they actually pretty good. So those will be going out this week.
Yeah. Okay, what else? Let's see. We covered all that. I think that's it. The other thing that's been really cool is that you guys have just been killing it in the messenger threads. We now have groups for group 1 is our leader group. So there's kind of just different tiers, and it's been really fun because who was it? Kristen. She was she moved up this week, and so she messaged me. She was like, I have 4 coaches now. I can move up to the Push for Diamond group, and so I think it's creating some really cool momentum for people to go, oh, cool, I can start in group 4, but then I can work my way up and really be with people who are pushing for the same things you're pushing for. So if you have, oh, yay, and Lane's moving up. I love it. And I just think it's going to be fun, but it's been really cool to see so much action and so much activity and inviting, because truly that is when you can get your mind to think in that sense, that's when your business starts to take off. Is Sarah Schmitz on? Because she's been blowing it up too with more recruits this week. I'm like, girl, every time I pop on, she just keeps recruiting someone new. But
yeah, just slow down.
Yeah.
The one thing that I will say with that is don't take the easy way out. I'm plugged in all of these, so I can go in and look, and we're not malicious about kicking people out or anything like that. We want this to be a sense of accountability and hopefully some level of encouragement for all of you. But I will see in there every now and again that people will just say followed up with potentials, and I don't know what that means. Nobody else knows what that means. It's very difficult to quantify. So I would make sure that you actually use a first name and a last initial and just give some clarity of what you're actually doing, because for us, we'll all support you. We'll all probably hit love or or congratulations, respond back to you. Only you know what you actually did. And so I think the deeper level of accountability is putting names to it and actually holding yourself accountable for what you're trying to accomplish. That would be my only encouragement. So far, it's been really good. We see a lot of engagement, a lot of people posting in there every day, and it's not anything crazy. You guys aren't asked to message 1,000 people or anything like that. It's 1 or 2, and most people are really good about it. I think we can take it even just a little step further and actually put something down, because when you put it down and people see it, it will happen.
Yeah, one thing I have on my list too for this week is that I really want to build this into our onboarding. So if you have coaches who join your team and they're ready to go right away, they're not discount coaches, they really want to work it, I'm going to have sort of an onboarding process. So when you add a coach, how do they get plugged into these messenger threads? Because I think the sooner that we can get new coaches to take action, kind of explain that, they're just going to get excited and they're going to feel that momentum too. Okay, so Aaron and Kim, I will get you added. If anyone else wants to be added, just reach out, seriously, whenever. And like I said, I'll try to get a system to know how you can get your new coaches plugged in too this week. But it's all about that reaching out. I followed up with so many people this weekend, because our boot camp starts tomorrow, and I'm like, okay, well, you get just a few people to get back, but just know that it's okay. If you get rejected, this is what I like to tell people, if you're not getting no's, it means that you're not really working the business. Because if you're working the business, you're going to get no's. That's totally normal, but then you're going to get a yes. So just keep reaching out. It's not you, there's nothing wrong with you. People say no. That's just on average, it takes people, what is it, 8 to 10 touch points or something like that to actually even care.
And the majority of people don't get past 2, so they try twice and they just quit. The other thing that I'll say with that, Carl talked about it a little bit, and we've been trying to kind of kick through how we want to start training people that come on board. But oftentimes we just wait and we agonize over the idea of inviting somebody or asking somebody, and we spend literally months. Like a lot of new coaches will come on board and they'll spend 6 months designing this custom template, making sure that their logos and their graphics look really, really cool. You just got to go in and go for it. Mm-hmm. And, as it pertains to Success Club, we've usually been pretty generous with just like, get on the board. Let's Success Club 5 would be awesome. Like we kind of want to raise the ante a little bit and just have people come on board with the expectation that, like, try and find, don't try and find 1 or 2. Let's see if we can find 3 to 5 people to join you month 1. And I was really struck when we were at Leadership by Moira Kakova's discussion, where she literally went to her 5 best friends and said, I want to do this. I know that there is something to it. I know I can be successful doing it, but I can't do it by myself. Would you just join me? Mm-hmm. And they are her 5 diamonds right now. And she's 9-star or 10-star qualifying. So I mean, she's a beast because she just found people she trusts and who trust her and asked them to come with her. And I think that's an awesome business model. And now they do everything together. That's how she built her business. They all are interchangeable, and it's a model, right? But I would say, like, we can come out. These messenger threads are designed to help people, maybe push past comfort zones and build some accountability. But, also as you guys are bringing on people, because we've had to be setting some records with bringing on people over the last couple of months here. It's been insane. Make sure you're also pushing that out as an expectation of your coaches. Like, I mean, like you just said, Sarah Schmitz or Brittany Logue or
Aaron's team, literally 42.
They're all new. They're all new people. It's not like they've been coaching for 3 years.
This is what's crazy and what's so cool is that I remember a couple months ago, our entire downline would recruit about 50 new people every month. And this past month, it was totally over 100 people. Like that we grew by. And so it just shows that, gosh, when you take that action, I know it's uncomfortable. I know it's like, it's not always like, it's not enjoyable all the time, right? But I mean, now because I go back to Erin a lot right now because she's just like, I want you guys to see what she has done. Like, she started this thing a year ago, no following, nothing. Like, she built that up. She showed her team what was possible, and now they're recruiting. So it's like she wasn't the one to recruit all 42 people. She showed other people how to do it alongside of her, right? So
you should also, one thing that I think is interesting, because you still get it. Like, it's still like people brush you off. You should talk about the conversation that you had with Nicole.
Oh, yeah.
And just her context, what she's telling you, she's literally telling you that Beachbody would be a great option. Yeah. And like, just thinking through that perspective.
Yeah. Okay. So there's Okay. So there's this girl that, she's an acquaintance from around here, and I run into her at the gym once in a while, and she's younger. She's she's just graduating college. Okay. So she has an offer at Anytime Fitness Corporate, which is right down the road here. And so she was telling me about that, and she's like, yeah, I really, I'm excited about that, but then I'm also talking to someone here at Lifetime because I think ultimately I want to get into health and fitness because that's what I like to do every day. She's like, but my ultimate goal is to move out to Colorado, so that's kind of why I want to stick with Lifetime Fitness because they have a location out in Colorado. So she's telling me all these things. She's telling me her passion, right? And so I go on, listen to her and everything, like really listening to what she wants. And what she wants to do is work in health and fitness and have flexibility to travel wherever she wants to go. She wants to live wherever she wants to live, right? She wants what our generation wants. Like, we just want life how we want it. And so I'm listening to her, and all of a sudden, after she gets done talking, I'm like, well, you know what, Nicole, like, I just have to tell you, if you're ever interested in coaching, like, you would be amazing. You would help so many people. And have you heard much about coaching? Like, I try to kind of tell her about it a little bit, and I'm like, I mean, especially if you want to live wherever, you want to be adventurous. I mean, this is awesome. This could be great for you or whatever. And so she goes on to say, she's like, and granted, like, she has no idea, like, what I make. She has no idea the potential. So she's really blind here. But she goes to me, she's like, Okay, well, yeah, that sounds great. I mean, if all this stuff falls through, I'll be sure to get back to you. You know, and so it's like that mentality of like, oh yeah, I mean, we'll see if I have to, if it really comes to that, like, I guess I'll maybe reach out to you.
But the point being, like, you still got to put yourself out there.
You have to.
And at the end of the day, like, not having, like, we talk about this a lot, like, not having to go to the gym and put an open house sign and sit there for 10 hours a day, and who knows, maybe she gets 5 customers out of it. Some of those customers come back the next, like, I mean, it's all defined by the parameters in the facility. It has nothing to do with her just deciding what hours she wants and what hours she doesn't want. She can't expand beyond her local area. She's going to have to stay right there in wherever she ends up in Colorado. Like, what we get to do is so cool and so unique. And I hope you guys really, really take note that, like, Amber is still asking people, still talking to people about it, still gets rejected. Like, just because you have a tiny bit of success, that doesn't change anything. You still have to keep asking. You still need to keep talking. And who knows, she could come around, she could end up being a great coach. You know, a lot of those people, that Kristen A.E., who spoke at leadership, she was like, she goes, one of the comments, she goes, probably a number of you, hundreds of you in this room probably reached out to me for 2 years straight. And, it wasn't until she decided just to make that step. Obviously she didn't sign up on our team, but she ends up going on. She's speaking at leadership, and it took people 2 years worth of reaching out to her. So you just never know. So
yeah, like Aaron or like Bridget said, it's all about the seed. The seed is now planted. So you know what? She may find herself desperate for me someday. She'll know. She'll
desperate.
Know. But it is about planting the seeds, and you guys never know. And the reason why I plant seeds, and I probably tell this story more often than I should, but I did not plant seeds. I didn't. I was too nervous. I was too scared. And so even though I would have a prospect that I would think about this person and go, oh, she'd be so good at coaching, I wouldn't say anything because I was too nervous. And then what would happen would be 3-4 months down the line, she'd end up with my friend. And so that really kind of pissed me off enough times where I'm like, you know what? This Nicole's going to think I'm wacko because I invited her to be a Beachbody coach, but that may, like, otherwise this next person's going to invite her because
totally.
That's just how it works. So I kind of scare myself when I try to work the courage up to ask someone or present. I kind of just have to scare myself and go, what if she signed up with her? I'm like, oh no, she's not signed up with her. She's going to sign up with me. So that's why I kind of just have to do. So, okay. Any other questions, you guys, before we go? Any other questions or things about the dates too? You feel free to shoot me an email or a message. Oh no. Okay. All right. Well, I think that's all we have. We'll let you guys get going. Our boot camp is kicking off tomorrow. So if anyone of you guys are not in there and you want to be in there, feel free to just shoot us a message and we'll get you added. We are doing a hard cutoff tonight just because. Maybe early tomorrow morning would accept people.
Well, what I initially said was by end of the day Monday.
Okay.
And the expectation is that they complete the workout because you saw with the 80-day obsession, we saw at round 1 of Sweat Well Spent. It was awesome to have everybody doing the workouts, and the people who participated the day of got the workouts done. The people that lagged behind ended up skipping days, just trying to play catch up, dropping off on the back half of the program. So if you guys are in there for the first time, I think it's going to be really fun. This round 2 is going to be a little bit different. We're going to do some of the same workouts, but feedback, people wanted shorter workouts. I get it. Everybody wants shorter workouts. Some people are complaining about weather getting tough and not being able to run. So we heard that. So we've made some modifications to it. We're probably going to take down some of the mileage to satisfy the sissies. And then we are going to increase the plyometrics and cardio workouts. We're going to incorporate some of the resistance training from 80-day obsession. We're going to be teaching people how to do kettlebell. You don't need to have a kettlebell. First question. No, it's the theory of. So we're going to have a ton of fun, and that kicks off tomorrow. People can be in there or get added till the end of the day, but then we are going to shut it down so we don't have people trickling in throughout the program.
Yes, and we're trying, in case you missed my post from earlier, we are trying something new where we are not going to use the tracker this time. We just keep experimenting with how we can better hold people accountable. And we were in this Action Academy that was kind of cool to see like everyone's actions and what they were doing. So we're going to try that this month again. This business is all about trying something. It may work, it may not. And we'll just keep figuring out and tweaking. But that's the plan. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for your time tonight. Have a wonderful week, and we will, I'm sure, see you in the Facebook group soon. Okay, bye.